What's up, everybody? Your boy Nabori here with ELXR and the man, the myth, the legend, the thick monster,
They don't call me the main man for nothing.
Decay. What's up, my dude?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah, thanks for being here. As you guys may or may not know, Decay is our fighting game player. He is disgusting. If you guys have seen, we're going to be posting a whole bunch of fighting game clips from him. He's been in the game for a long time, and he's been part of the industry as well. So we got a couple questions for him. We're going to get back and forth and learn a little bit more about Decay and his background, and just super stoked to have you on board.
Yeah, I'm stoked too.
You falling asleep over there, huh?
I got my coffee, man. I'm good to
Okay,
go.
fair enough, fair enough. So tell us a little bit about your backstory and what got you into gaming.
And what got me into gaming, I guess, like when I was a little kid, I would go over to my friends' houses who had, like Nintendo systems and stuff like that. And, I just like me and my brother would like fall in love with those games. And then one day we convinced our parents to buy us a Genesis.
Oh, nice.
So, and then, it just sort of like started from there, like we had the Genesis, we had um all, and then like Nintendo 64 and like everything. And then we got into like the PC gaming too, and like Duke, um StarCraft, Counter-Strike. I was like big into Quake also. Like as you could tell, like the competitive nature started early.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially like having a brother there to play games with. So yeah, I mean, I guess I was just always a fan. Ever since I was just a little kid, man. Like just seeing those motion graphics on the screen and like you're playing through, even if it was like pixel art, like
Right.
back then that was like
That was the thing.
that was the thing, yeah. And like also, we'll get to it, but like being an artist, like seeing
Mm.
those like hand drawn sprites and stuff, that was awesome to me. So
Yeah, it was
yeah,
definitely
I was just infatuated by it as a kid.
it's definitely a different world. Like me and you growing up, seeing video games develop from those sprites, those pixel arts to what it is now is just crazy.
It's crazy, and I was just talking to a coworker about it. That there's like a lost art, not necessarily percent lost, but like in the AAA game industry,
Mm.
um, there's just so much like motion capture and like highly photorealistic character models where you know there should also be a place for like the indie games that have like the hand drawn sprites, like the stylized visuals, the animation by hand, like that stuff is awesome to me. So
For sure. Yeah, it seems like
yeah.
it's kind of on the way out, sadly. But
Hmm.
so for the next question, a lot of y'all are probably like, "What do you mean he worked in the industry?" Well, he worked for
Hmm.
NRS, which is NetherRealm Studios. If you guys don't know, they made Mortal Kombat and Justice. Tell us more about what you did there and how that came about.
Yeah, so like growing up in New Jersey, I had very little opportunities to get into the game industry because there's no studios really nearby,
Yeah.
especially if you wanted to like get your foot in the door. And so, I was like working my ass off, doing artwork, like trying to get it out there and stuff. And then I actually got my artwork in front of the right eyes. He's my friend now. At the time, we were strangers, but Marco Neller, he's like a stellar artist, and like this really cool guy. He found my work online on Instagram, and he saw that like we had a lot of things in common with like um, what type of art we like to do, like the lifting, competitive fighting. And so he reached out to me and was like, dude, like you need to go to Evo. Like we all need to hang out, like you and the other NetherRealm people. We'll get a house and then, just like chill. And so, yeah, I mean, I booked my flight. I hung out with them. They're all like him, John, Martin, LeBaron. Like we all, just hung out for a weekend in Vegas, and
Nice.
we just clicked, and they were all like, "Dude, you got to move to Chicago. Like, we got to get you in the industry. You need to like get started." So, yeah, so like I put my resume out there. Um, I got contacted by the head of QA, and I was like, I have to like step outside of my comfort zone and just move and
For
just like
sure.
take this QA job and just like impress them. Like that's my best chances of succeeding. And so that's literally what I did. I just like packed up, left New Jersey, went to live with Marco in Chicago. So we were roommates and like super close friends. And yeah, like I got in the industry first day on the job. I had like my first Mortal Kombat drawing that I've ever done framed,
Oh wow.
and I just like walked into Ed Boon's office, like, "Hey, I'm Eric, and I'm a new employee here. Like, I just want to let you know I've been drawing your characters since I was, in like elementary school,
Oh, that's
basically." So
sick.
I gave him this drawing, and I'm pretty sure he still has it. And yeah, I left a good impression on them. I immediately started like Ed started inviting me to meetings to do like to create concepts for like intros, outros, cinematics, and then it turned into more like gear pieces for like Cyborg and Deadshot,
Oh
and
wow.
then I also did like storyboards in the single player campaign. So yeah, I did like a ton of cool artwork, just because I wanted to get involved, in the art department and with the designers. And I know like working with Ed has been just like a pleasure. He's like such a cool guy. So yeah,
That's
that's
dope.
how it got started.
Damn. That's a long journey right there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Another question, why fighting games? Like what I know you talked about you and your brother playing games on all different
Mhm.
systems and PC, but what drew you towards the fighting game genre and pursuing that more?
I think just because like having a brother, there's already some kind of like competitive nature to it. Like no matter what you do, you kind of want to compete a little bit,
For sure.
friendly competition. And like back then, you have a system and it's like if you have a game that's one player only, it's like you gotta take turns. So we would always like rent games that are two player and we'll buy two-player games. And most of those, like, you think back at it, there's not too many like cooperative other than like Streets of Rage or something,
Yes. Classic.
yeah. A lot of them were like fighting games and stuff and just competitive games. So we would just beat the crap out of each other all day, and just like get super good. And then, like Street Fighter came out, Mortal Kombat came out, and we were, you know,
Nice.
so I think that competitive nature that I have already in me, it just like really gravitates towards fighting games, and I like the fact that so I play like all kinds of strategy games. I even like played chess for a long time too.
Oh
So
wow.
I like the feeling of like being skillful at the game, but also having like that mindset where I'm like trying to outplay my opponent, and the fighting games have that.
Definitely. And it's really up in your face, there's no other outside source. It's just you and the other player just going at it.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
I like to consider it to be sort of like a mind game, like your mind, and there's a lot of like instinctual stuff that goes on, and obviously muscle memory and just timing. But like a good player is just going to um, it's like break your will down,
Right.
like figure you out and almost like they say your reads, like you're reading someone's mind, but it's because you're like figuring out their more or less, and you're like exploiting them.
For
So
sure.
I like that.
Speaking of mind games, do you ever like you're a big dude obviously. Do you ever like box someone out when you're sitting next to him, like kind of nudge him a little bit with your arms or something like
Just jokingly, man.
Yeah.
I try to be as like composed and respectful as possible when I'm playing, unless I'm like playing with a. If I have to compete against somebody who's my friend, like I'll, mess with them
Yeah.
a bunch of times, especially like competing in like the state that you're in, and you'll end up having to play a tournament set against someone who you train with, and that's always like a crappy feeling.
Yeah. They know your tricks.
They know your tricks, you know theirs. You know how to get under their skin, and then like whoever wins, it's sort of like that saltiness for a little bit, like damn this guy, like I'm not friends with him anymore, and then like 10 minutes later, you're like best friends again.
Yeah. That's great. Hell yeah. What's the deal with your command grab characters? I know you've been playing, Goro and Lobo and currently
Mhm.
Jax. Like what draws you towards those characters?
I think so. It's just like that threat of having that move that makes people like freak out.
Mm,
Like if you ever fight against like a Zangief or something like that, like he works hard to get in, and then once he's in, you're just holding up the whole time because you're afraid of that command throw. Even if like you've never conditioned your opponent to be afraid of it, like the threat of it being in his roster, his like move is like enough for people to freak out on their own. So I kind of like the extra layer. And like Lobo was like broken in my opinion. He was super broken with his command throw. Like no other character had that type of damage and setups like in NetherRealm history as far as the characters I've played. Um and he had like guaranteed command throw setups that
Mm,
did like 60% damage. Yeah, he was just like so fun to use. So ever since I mained him, I've been looking at characters who have command throws, and they've been, I guess, like NetherRealm's been like progressively making characters more like normalized and I guess like more balanced.
yeah.
So my character mains have been getting like slightly worse and worse,
No,
except for maybe like Jax is pretty good, but you know, they're not like on that level that Lobo was for sure.
that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
As many have noticed too, you look like a video game character yourself, which is pretty rare in the gaming industry and gaming in general. But how do you correlate your work ethic in the gym to fighting on the
Mhm.
sticks? Like, how do you?
I think it's there's like a shared um like talent or like a like one's passion for game will just correlate directly to the gym. Like if you're passionate about something like video games, which takes a lot of talent, it takes a lot of time to like get used or to get good at something. Um, Translate that to what it takes to get to be successful in the gym. You, like I feel like the two go hand in hand, and it works like with all. I used to skateboard. It's like the same mentality. Like if you have that mindset where I need every day to learn a specific thing, like I need to learn how to fight against this one character, for example. You're putting in hours fighting against the same person, the same character. You're losing a lot, and you're just like getting bodied and you're trying to figure out how do I get like that mentality to overcome that and not just quit.
Right.
Like that's something that a lot of people don't have. And I feel like I see it a lot I see that type of mentality in the game, in the competitive scene. And that's why they're so good. That's why, you have your Sonic Foxes, all your top players that they've failed a million times and they're putting in the work and they're achieving little micro goals.
For
And
sure.
then, over the years it becomes like, you know, you're you're just like becoming a god, and that's like that's literally like what it's like at the gym. Like, you're you're working out, you're lifting something, and it's just too hard. Like most people quit within the first 2 months of trying to be successful at the gym.
For
So
sure.
it's definitely a consistency thing and like just trying to achieve little mini goals, and then next thing you know, you're super swollen. Like holy crap, when did that happen?
You look up and you look in the mirror. You're like, oh, what?
Yeah, like I
Okay.
guess it's been working.
Right.
Also, I think that like fighting games in particular, since they're competitive and it's like a one-on-one environment, it reminds me a lot of like when you're a consistent gym partner who, like you're trying to catch up with them if they're bigger than you, or they're trying to catch up with you, but you're both like semi competing with each other,
Yeah.
but for the goal of that you're both like becoming better than what you were, and that's like when you have a training partner in practice mode, or like someone who's better than you at fighting game, you will get better just from playing against somebody who's better than you and like um just failing so many times. Yeah, that's I see like a I see similarities for sure between the two.
Sure, there's definitely a good correlation with that. What would be the craziest thing that ever happened to you at a tournament?
Oh god. Um oh, there's so many stories. I mean, the craziest thing as far as like gaming goes, I I made top 8 at Winter Brawl in Injustice 1, and I remember like the first person was in top 8, I had to fight Coach Steve. If you know anything about like Coach Steve, he's a super godlike player. He's like good at everything,
Yeah.
and I beat him. But that was like the matchup was kind of 5-5, and I didn't know like how much he studied against Lobo before. And then I had to fight against KDZ, who was an Evo champion for Injustice 1. And he's like the recurring champion of our weeklies that I went to every week at 8 on the break. He played Superman, arguably like, the best Superman or one of the top three in the world. And that was like an insanely hard matchup for me. And yeah, so basically he was like my tournament demon. Every week I'll get super far at the weekly and then get bodied by him. I'm like, I gotta fight KDZ. I just basically am gonna lose. And within I I just barely beat him. Like it was so
Wow.
close, and it just like felt so good to finally like beat my tournament demon, but also in like a bigger tournament setting. Like
Hmm.
it had more on the line, I guess. And yeah, I mean, I think that was my first feeling of like, wow, this guy just crapped on me for months, and like it finally paid off, and I could see that I've become a better player now and that I've earned it. And so that was like one of those like holy crap moments, my first one. Or
That's awesome. It's like one of those moments where you're just like, damn, I could do anything. You know what I mean? It finally clicks, and you're
yeah,
like, wow, just
yeah, like I've had like I've beaten a lot of good players. I've beaten like even at the weeklies, I actually beat Jupiter, which was at that time Jupiter was he was untouchable with
yeah.
Martian Manhunter, and those are like some of those oh crap moments. Like I might be actually pretty decent, Um, but this one in particular is just like I was losing to Phil, KDZ so much. Um, it just felt like really nice to finally beat him.
For sure.
Yeah.
What was your first experience competing?
My first competitive experience was at a local that was called Salty Sunday, I think it was, and it was run by Joe Crudy, rest in peace. And I remember like uploading some of my videos on Test Your Mic, and people were like, "Wow, you got a pretty good Lobo. Are you gonna come out and compete?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I don't know, like, not really sure what's going on." And Darth Arm, Miguel, he's Darth Arm was awesome,
Yeah.
but he actually was like the first one to reach out and be like, "Hey, there's this tournament Sunday. You should go there, hang out, meet everybody, and then you should start going to the 8 on the break." So I was like, "All right, let's do this." So I went out there. I met Darth Arma. I met Zyfox, Indecisive. I met Fran and Rico Suave and a bunch of other people for the first time. And to me, like they were Hollywood already,
Yeah.
because I've been watching their videos. And like I see them, I'm like, wow, like I can't believe I'm hanging out with these guys.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, so I got bodied pretty much super fast because I've never played on a monitor before. No, I've been playing on a big TV,
Right.
and no one told me like that monitors have like zero lag, and the big TVs have a bunch of lag, and
Uh huh.
it's gonna mess up your combos. So I played like absolute crap. But they were like, "Dude, don't let this stop you from getting better. Like, come to the break every week, and you're gonna level up super quick."
Nice.
And so, yeah, like the break at that time had like some really stacked weekly players for Injustice, and MK too. Um, they had like the Evo champion was like running the whole thing,
Damn.
Darth Arma, and then we had like Zyfox would go, um, Jupiter would go, like Sonic Fox would show up every now and then. Like it was pretty stacked, for a weekly. Um, so having that competition in my backyard basically helped me level up fast. And yeah, I do. I feel like I owe a lot to Darth Armor for at least like, reaching out to me because he didn't have to, but
Right.
he actually loves the scene, and you could tell like when he commentates like that he loves the games, he loves the scene, like he wants to see it expand, and he's willing to reach out to some random person online and be, come and play offline. So that was that was an awesome day for
That's
sure.
really cool. It really seems like the fighting game community are really close, and they're always looking for newer players to play against, and not only get better themselves, but also help each other. Like it's because they want that competition. Like it's really cool. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, yeah, you want competition. You want like it's cool to have like everyone who's super good at different characters, and you're able to just reach out to them and be like, "Hey, I need some experience. Let's
Yeah.
play a 2-hour set."
Right.
Like that. That's how it was back then. I don't know if it's the same anymore since a lot of stuff is online now, but and a lot of with the esports,
Mm-hmm.
like they make it almost impossible to have like those chill, like everyone come over to my house and we'll just play all day, like those kind of days. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I do miss those times. Hopefully the esports don't ruin that feeling.
Yeah. Hopefully not. Damn.
We'll see.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
What's your favorite character of all time? I know you talked about Lobo. Is that your favorite, or like
Of like favorite fighting game character or
any
just
character of
all
all
time?
time?
Oh damn.
Yeah, that's a
I'm gonna have to say Spawn, man. Like
okay.
I do love Bo. Like he's my favorite DC character, without a doubt. Um, but I feel like Spawn was like my first like obsession with a character
Okay.
growing up. Like, I bought all his comics, I bought all the toys. Um, I got the posters, in my bedroom back in the day, and the crappy games that they made for him. Like
Yeah.
I bought those. Yeah, so I think Spawn is my number one, and then it's like Venom, Lobo, obviously. I guess all my favorite characters look the same.
All dark characters, yeah.
they, they'll have like, yeah, with like colored eyes
What are
and
you
like
trying to
the
say?
face mark stuff. Yeah, I don't know, man. I like that
Awesome.
aesthetic, dude.
Yeah, it's a great look for sure.
Yeah.
Not only do you work out and play video games, you're a great artist as well. Can you tell us more about your artwork and things like that?
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Being an artist, I'll always say that I'm not good, but that I feel like a lot of artists are like
for
that.
sure.
But yeah, I basically started at like 4 or something. Some super young age. I was just like, pencil in my hand, starting to draw, and I guess I would just draw whatever was um, like inspiring to me at the time. So I drew like I said before, I drew those MK drawings. I drew
Hmm.
Street Fighter characters. I obviously drew Spawn. All the games I was playing, I would do fan art for. X-Men, I was crazy for too, like Wolverine and stuff.
Nice.
Um, so those are all like the things that I would draw as a kid, and then going to college and learning illustration and stuff. I feel like I took a lot of those influences with me, and it's sort of hard for my college professors to pinpoint exactly what I wanted to do with my art because they're like trying to mold this this person
Right.
who honestly I didn't even want to be in school. Like I had like this mentality where I don't like I'm not learning anything. Like I don't know what. to even do with my life with art. Like I don't know, nothing really fit my
Yeah.
like what I want to do because I didn't want to be a comic artist and I didn't want to be like a painter. And so I remember like halfway through school, being a total pain in the ass to my professors. Um, I found my dad actually bought me this book magazine and it's like a annual concept art and digital. Well, not just digital, but like a lot of like concept art stuff
Oh, cool.
um, in this publication. Looking at it, I'm like, man, like this stuff is awesome, and like this is a viable career, like just drawing monsters and
Yeah.
like environments, like people pay for this. So I decided like then and there, like this is what I want to do. Um, I'll do whatever it takes to get good at it. So I convinced my parents like, I'm gonna buy this tablet. I'm gonna shop. I'm gonna like buy tutorials. Like if my professors can't help me with this goal, then I'm just gonna have to do it myself. And I'm not saying that my professors weren't. They tried their best, like because they're all like traditional
For
painters and
sure.
illustrators, like political stuff. So they helped me like with as much as they could, like with the anatomy and lighting and all
Hmm.
that stuff, like very very like um, fundamental
Right.
stuff, right? But as far like learning how to digitally paint and like be creative with concepts, like that's something that I had to spend a lot of I guess years on my own and just researching online and getting like getting inspired by other artists and buying a crap ton of tutorials and just feeling more comfortable in a new medium, um, so and then here I am and just drawing and painting whatever I want and uh, I feel like I achieved something that like a super long term goal that I didn't think was, like really possible. And yeah, that's my background. That's
Right
what I'm
on.
doing now.
Heck yeah. Like you said, it's very interesting from, traditional schooling for art to,
Hmm.
really pulling and finding what you're interested in and then exploring it even further on your own. That's what really differentiates, I would say
Yeah.
artists from, making their own identity, their own stuff, their own projects.
Can you hear me?
I think I lost my internet there. My dog
No.
pulled out the
Oh,
cord.
okay. No, no, you're right though. Like you kind of have to, and that goes with like pretty much anything you do in life. Like if you want to achieve something, you're going to if you put the time into it, and that's really like what separates the successful from the ones who don't make it. It's like um, whether it's getting better at a game, it's in the gym, it's pick up a hobby like art or music or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You kind of have to like, just like force yourself to put in the time and force yourself to uh, like you kind of have to open yourself up to like being bad. Yeah, you got to be. Digital paintings were bad,
Right.
and like you could take that and be like, man, I'm just so bad, like I'll never be good, and that's how it is. Or you could take it and be like, all right, well, I'm sure Michelangelo was bad at some point too. Like we just don't see those bad drawings because those aren't the ones hanging up in the museum,
Exactly.
right? So yeah, I think like perseverance for following things, like following your dream, is 100% key. Like I would even go to the museum like by myself every week at the Metropolitan Museum in New York and just study sculptures for hours, and like my hand would be cramping and my legs are cramping. Um, and I would just practice the sculptures, trying to get better at, my technique. And if you have that capacity and that mindset to be better, then you literally will get better at what you want to be better at. 100%.
Definitely. I 100% agree.
Hmm.
So we recently saw you. We have a video on our channel if you guys haven't checked it out already. You competing at CEO 2019 We had
Hmm.
your first match, and was wondering what are your other tournaments that you plan on going to in the future, um, things like that.
Right now, like this month, to Mortal Kombat New Jersey. Actually, that's a monthly that's being put together by Darth Arma and Cos. Um, awesome, awesome people. Also, Darth Arma's wife Chelsea helps run it too. Um, so that's actually awesome. I'm kind of pissed that there's like a New Jersey scene like after I move. Like this cool tournament every month.
Yeah,
But it's so good. Yeah, so I'll be there. I'll be like actually a special guest there. I think they're gonna put
nice.
out some kind of like um flyer, like poster, like Decay's gonna be there.
Hell yeah.
um, yeah, so that's gonna be awesome. Those people are like my best friends. And then after that, I think NEC.
Okay.
So it's looking like an East Coast um tour, kind of maybe ECT too, but I have to, yeah, I just kind of have to like figure things out with schedule. I'm like 90% sure I'll be going to NEC, um, but no Evo, unfortunately.
Ah,
It's just
okay.
like there's been so many tournaments like back to back
Right.
where I'm like flying all over the place that I just can't take too much time off to go to every single one.
For sure.
So yeah,
That's awesome. We're excited to see you there. Like you always pull the show in, and it's always really fun to watch you fight and see what you do. So that'd be really
hell
cool.
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, hopefully hopefully I get at a spawn, I hope I get like the character that I really, you know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
I'll be competing a lot more frequently if I have like a character and while I do like Jax, he's just not like, he's never been my character.
Yeah.
Um, he's just like inspired to play him really, you know?
For sure.
Um, so I'm hoping that Spawn is like, and if the rumors are true about Ash, that's another one of
Oh
my favorites.
man.
So if I could have like those two characters, it'd be like really good. I'm gonna be super happy, and I'll probably just start destroying everybody.
Heck yeah. I'm excited to see it. Hopefully Spawn turns out to be as badass as he is and all of his other stuff. So
Hmm.
and really the play style that you're looking for too. So
Yeah, that's key.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I appreciate you chilling today, taking the time
Yeah,
out, and
man.
hopefully everybody learned a little bit more about DK. We're super proud to have you on the team and just stoked. Stoked, man.
Yeah, thanks for everything, man.
Yeah,
This
dude.
it's been a pleasure, honestly.
For sure. All right. Peace out.
All right, see you guys.